There's a power few people will ever possess. Not wealth, not fame, not even intelligence, but emotional mastery. The ability to stand unmoved while the world burns around you, to walk through chaos with stillness in your eyes, to smile, not because everything is perfect, but because nothing owns you anymore. You want to be unstoppable? You want to win this game of life? Then learn to act as if nothing bothers you, because once you do, nothing can. This isn't about apathy. This isn't about suppressing the truth. This is about control, inner control, mental fortitude, emotional sovereignty, the kind of control that can't be shaken by opinions, failures, setbacks, or noise. Most people are slaves, not to chains, but to reactions. They wake up and hand the keys to their mind to the world. A single insult can ruin their day. A rejection breaks their spirit. A delay in success makes them question their worth. That's not freedom. That's emotional poverty. But you are here for something greater. 'Cause you felt it, that fire deep inside you, that quiet whisper that says, there's more. You were made for more. And that more begins when you stop letting life dictate your state. You must become unbothered, not by avoiding the storm, but by learning to walk through it with presence. Think of the greats. Marcus Aurelius, leading a crumbling empire, yet riding with peace. Abraham Lincoln, guiding a fractured nation, yet carrying dignity through every speech. Nelson Mandela, 27 years in prison, yet emerging with a heart unbroken by bitterness. They didn't react like everyone else. They didn't scream when the world expected them to scream. They didn't bend when pressure tried to break them. They held command, not of the world, but of themselves. That's your task now, not to control everything, but to command your reaction to everything. Because the world will test you. It will push you. It will try to pull your energy like a thief in the night. People will doubt you. They'll criticize you, lie about you, laugh at you, misunderstand you. But none of that can touch you, unless you let it. Learn to act as if nothing bothers you. And soon, the things that used to break you will no longer matter. Why? Because your mission is louder than the noise. Because your purpose is stronger than your mood. Because your standard is higher than their opinion. Imagine this. You walk into a room, and you don't need approval. You face a failure, and you don't flinch. You hear a lie about you, and you don't chase it down to correct it, because your life is your proof. That's what it means to rise, to walk as if you're already chosen, to carry yourself like destiny isn't a question. It's a decision you've already made. This isn't about pretending. It's about practicing. Practicing calm, practicing patience, practicing control when your instincts scream to lash out, panic, or shut down. Because every time you choose peace over panic, every time you choose purpose over pettiness, every time you choose stillness over reaction, you win. Not just in the moment, but in life. And here's what happens when you master that state. People start leaning in. They feel the energy shift when you walk by. They see a person who cannot be shaken, and they respect it, even if they don't understand it. You become magnetic. You become a lighthouse in the storm. You become someone others look to, not because you yell the loudest, but because you move with conviction. And that conviction comes from within. No one gives it to you. No one can teach it to you in a classroom. You earn it through war, the war between your higher self and your ego. Your ego wants to react. Your spirit wants to rise. Choose the one that builds. Choose the one that lasts. Because when you act as if nothing bothers you, you're not denying reality. You're elevating above it. You must understand, clarity is not a luxury. It is survival. Because without clarity, you become a puppet, jerked around by circumstances, impulses, distractions. You become reactive. You live your life responding to noise instead of responding to vision. But clarity, true clarity, gives you power. Power to move with intention. power to choose stillness over chaos, power to walk through fire and not let it scar your soul. Clarity isn't something you find in a journal or a podcast. It's something you decide. It's a moment, a sharp, sacred moment, when you say, "This is who I am. This is what I stand for. This is where I'm going, and I will not be shaken by anything less." And when that decision is real, when it's etched into your bones and not just written in your notebook, you stop getting offended by small minds. You stop being controlled by shallow opinions. You stop folding when things don't go your way, because you have become someone else, not by chance, not by luck, but by design. And here's the hard truth. Most people never find themselves because they're too busy reacting to everything else. They build their personality around avoiding discomfort. They construct an identity made entirely of defense mechanisms. But not you. You are not here to react. You are here to create. And creation requires calm. It requires space, inner space. It requires a mind that isn't hijacked by every provocation. So you must build an identity that is anchored. Not an identity built on achievements or status or praise, but an identity built on unshakable self-respect. Self-respect that says, "I do not argue with fools. I do not chase chaos. I do not lower myself to explain my worth. I know who I am, and I carry that knowledge like armor." Because when you walk with self-respect, you don't need noise. You don't need validation. You don't even need agreement. You walk differently. You breathe differently. You respond differently. Not because you don't feel, but because you've trained yourself to master the moment before the reaction. That's the sacred gap. The space between stimulus and response. That's where your power lives. And the one who masters that space masters their life. So let the world throw its tests. Let the delays come. Let the opinions swirl. Let the critics bark. You already know who you are. You've already chosen the standard. You've already drawn the line and said, "I refuse to be pulled down by what is beneath me." And what's beneath you? Overreacting. Over-explaining, overthinking every little moment that doesn't go your way. What's above you? Stillness, precision, composure under pressure, a presence so grounded that even the storm begins to question itself. That's what you're here to embody, not as an act, not as a front, but as the realest version of you, the version that's always been there, waiting for the noise to die, waiting for the excuses to end, waiting for you to finally say, "No more reacting, no more emotional slavery, no more letting the outside world dictate my inner peace. From now on, I move like a mountain, unmoved, unbothered, unapologetically in control, because this is what happens when you act as if nothing bothers you. The world starts to respond to your energy, not the other way around. You become the calm in the room full of panic. You become the clarity in the world full of confusion. You become the one they look to when things fall apart, because you've already built yourself from the inside out. And nothing that's built from the inside out can ever be shaken from the outside in. You want to know how to become unstoppable? Stop letting emotions drive the wheel. Feel them, yes, but let them pass through you like weather, not take up residence in your soul. Because when emotion runs the show, discipline disappears, focus disappears, momentum dies in the shadow of mood swings. But when you act as if nothing bothers you, you become dangerous. Not because you're violent, but because you're calculated. Not because you're cold, but because you've mastered the heat. You don't lash out. You lead. You don't panic. You pivot. You don't quit. You quiet the noise and keep building. Every day becomes a weapon, a tool, a vote for your future. And here's the most radical truth of all. You don't need motivation. You don't need a sign. You don't need someone clapping for you in the background. You need standards so high that your mood becomes irrelevant. This is what separates those who dabble from those who dominate. Anyone can be consistent when it's sunny. Anyone can be kind when they're praised. Anyone can stay focused when the plan works. But can you execute when you're overlooked? Can you build when you're doubted? Can you speak life when your own life feels heavy? Because that's what it means to rise. That's what it means to be mentally bulletproof. You don't just survive difficulty, you extract diamonds from it. You show up, not just because you feel like it, but because it's who you are now. And that's the shift. It's no longer about effort, it's about identity. You are not someone trying to become disciplined. You are disciplined. You are not trying to be unbothered. You are unbothered. It's not performance, it's pattern. And those patterns, they are shaped in the dark, in the moments when no one's watching, in the hours when it would be easy to break your word to yourself. But you don't, because your future is watching, and it's only giving its gifts to the version of you that earns it. You want to know how empires are built? Not with one big win, but with 1,000 invisible victories over emotion. The alarm rings. You don't want to get up, but you do. The plan fails. You don't want to keep building, but you do. Someone insults you. You don't want to stay calm, but you do. That's how kings are made. That's how queens are crowned. Not with comfort, with command. Command over emotion. Command over focus. Command over self. And here's the paradox. The more you act as if nothing bothers you, the less actually does, because you stop reacting to what doesn't matter. You stop chasing closure, approval, or fairness. You start building a life where peace is the baseline, not the reward. You become your own momentum. You move forward because it's default, not desire. And when that shift happens, when execution becomes natural, when emotional regulation becomes instinct, you don't just change your days, you change your destiny. So stop waiting to feel ready. Stop asking, how do I stay motivated? And start declaring, I will no longer be ruled by how I feel in the moment. I act from purpose, I move from discipline, I build from stillness, and I rise with composure. Because when you learn to act as if nothing bothers you, the universe sees that you are ready to lead, and the world begins to move out of your way. Purpose, that's the anchor. That's the root that keeps you from being pulled by every emotional storm. Because once you're locked into purpose, the noise fades, the drama fades, the temptations fade. Not because they disappear, but because they lose their power. Most people don't lack motivation. They lack a why that's bigger than their emotions. If you're driven by comfort, you'll fold the moment life turns up the pressure. But if you're driven by mission, you'll rise, not because it's easy, but because you don't have another choice. You think Martin Luther King Jr. marched without fear? You think Elon Musk risked everything because it felt safe? You think Rosa Parks sat down because she was comfortable? They did it because their mission demanded more than emotion, because their cause was louder than their doubts, because their vision was sacred. And when your vision becomes sacred, you stop explaining yourself. You stop reacting to every whisper, every critic, every obstacle. You move in calm confidence, not fake humility, not arrogance, but certainty. A quiet certainty that says, I know who I am, I know what I'm building, and I refuse to waste one more breath on what doesn't align with that. You don't need to be loud. You don't need to fight every battle. You don't need to prove you're right. You become the proof. Your results will speak. Your habits will speak. Your energy will speak louder than words ever could. And when people feel that energy, the energy of someone who refuses to be shaken, who refuses to be pulled into nonsense, who refuses to abandon the path, they feel it in their chest. They respect it, even if they don't understand it. That's leadership, not position, not title, presence. You walk into a room, and the atmosphere changes, not because you try, but because you are. And you get there not by chasing confidence, but by mastering your inner world, because the outside world is chaos. It will always be chaos. You can't control the traffic. You can't control the economy. You can't control what people say or how they treat you. But you can control how you show up. You can control whether you respond or react. You can control whether you lose your peace or guard it like gold. You can control whether your soul is ruled by fear or led by fire. And if you choose fire, if you choose alignment, purpose, vision, then you will become unshakable, even in pain, even in loss, even when the path gets lonely. Because that's the truth they don't tell you. Peace isn't found at the top of the mountain. It's found inside the climber who stopped being afraid of the fall. So ground yourself, not in pride, not in appearance, but in truth. Ground yourself in who you are when no one is watching. Ground yourself in the work you've done, the discipline you've built, the commitment you've made to become someone you respect. Because when you respect yourself deeply, you stop needing the world to validate you. And that's where real freedom begins. It's not loud, it's not flashy, it's rooted, it walks quietly, but it moves mountains. Learn to act as if nothing bothers you, and you'll discover that peace isn't something you find. It's something you build. Brick by brick, decision by decision, moment by moment, until one day you realize the storm isn't outside you anymore. It's beneath you, and you're standing above it, calm, focused, untouchable, not because life got easier, but because you got wiser. The longer you walk this path, the more you'll realize peace is not the absence of problems, it's the presence of power in the middle of them. You don't earn that power overnight. You forge it through emotional endurance. Most people break too soon, not because life was too hard, but because their standard was too low, because they expected ease where they should have built endurance. You must become the kind of person who can sit in fire and not flinch, the kind who can carry weight and still move with grace, the kind who doesn't confuse pain with defeat. You want real strength? Learn to keep walking when your heart is heavy. Learn to keep working when the applause is gone. Learn to keep believing when the vision is clearer than the reality. That's emotional endurance. It's what makes legends. It's what separates the ones who quit when it hurts from the ones who rise when it matters most. Because, listen carefully, there will come a moment when your life hits you so hard it tries to make you forget who you are. And in that moment, you will either shrink or remember. You'll remember that you didn't come this far to break. Those storms don't scare you, they build you. That rejection doesn't define you, it refines you. Those setbacks don't stop you, they sharpen you. But only if you endure, only if you refuse to fold. Because legacy is built in silence, in the unrecorded hours, in the thankless seasons, in the lonely days when your soul whispers, keep going. They may not see it yet, but I do. And that's the key. You must live for a vision the world hasn't caught up to yet. You must hold that vision so fiercely that it bends reality around it. Think about Walt Disney. He drew cartoons and talked about magic kingdoms when people laughed in his face. Think about Henry Ford. He built an industry while people still beg for faster horses. Think about Thomas Edison. He failed 10,000 times before he left the world. None of them were calm because things were easy. They were calm because their vision was louder than the noise. And yours must be too. You must walk as if it's already done. You must carry yourself with the energy of the person who has already arrived. Not for ego, but for alignment. Because life responds not to your begging, but to your belief. And belief looks like composure. Belief looks like repetition. Belief looks like showing up again and again and again until what you saw in your mind becomes what they see in the world. That's how you command the respect of life itself. Not by being loud, but by being relentless. You want the world to move for you? Stand so still that nothing shakes you. Move so deliberately that chaos steps aside. Work so consistently that results can't ignore you. That's the quiet power of the one who is unbothered. Not because they're numb, not because they're emotionless, but because they've chosen power over panic. And when you choose that enough times, something changes. You walk with stillness. You speak with weight. You live with rhythm. And people feel it. Even the world feels it. And it responds. It clears the path. It offers the opportunities. It aligns with your energy because you finally stopped begging it to, and you became the person it had to honor. This is how you bend life. Not with manipulation. Not with desperation. With presence. With calm. With command. And all of that. All of it begins when you learn to act as if nothing bothers you. You were not born to flinch. You were born to emboit. To o'clock it, thaw you. And that's the royalty no one talks about. Note, notch, but lake. The ability to rule over your the real kings and queens of this world don't sit on thrones made of gold. They don't yell. They don't teach the grace. Like you because the world doesn't need more noise. The world needs you. Rooted. Unshakable. It needs a leader who doesn't just talk about calm, Buddhist cream, a boo-boolin', a boo-beseen. That's your calling now. No, but two with it. Because once you master your reaction, you are welcome. You rise so high that the old, you can't reach you anymore. I groove, but because you changed how you show up. You shine. Why? And in doing so, you build legacy. Not a loud one. No, but alas, on a legacy of calm power, of island, and when you leave this earth, pray let them. That person didn't flinch. That person is a fool carried, and how are you? Because groovy, so rise now. Not book move now. No, but with purpose speak now. Not to be HB voice co-live now. Not but TC. Because the world will move for you when this is your edge. Because learn to act as if nothing bothers you, and become the kind of person nothing can touch.